Uh, Mr. Judge, how are you feeling about the court coming up today?
I mean, I will judge this case fairly, and yeah, we'll do that.
Are you sure it's going to be fairly, sir? Because I do see a get out of jail free card right on your desk. It's right on your desk, right next to your cappuccino.
You don't need to worry about that. That's for me for later, So I'll just put this down here so you don't see that. That's fine.
I can still see it, sir.
Mom, help, I don't know what I'm doing.
Neither do I. Hey, Jew. Did you remember the secret weapon?
Yes.
Mom, I'm
A
stuck.
lawyer.
I can't get up.
You can't get up.
I can't get out.
Is that gonna fuck you up, Tika?
I'll figure it out.
Okay.
Hold on. I can't see it. I can only see VR.
no.
I can only see VR, so
I was wondering why nobody was talking for like
I
5
don't know.
minutes.
Order in the court. Order in the court. Let's get some decorum going on here. Let's let the prosecutor take over for the opening statements.
Are you ready there, Tika, with your setup? Tika,
I'm good.
you good?
Thumbs up.
I'm not looking at you.
You,
Shades, you're in a different filter, of course, because Anyway, let's get this started. Welcome all, Your Honor, and the fellow punks of the court. I welcome you all today. We today stand at crossroads of trust and treachery. The Infernal punks are not just a group, we are a brotherhood built on grit, loyalty, and the promise that no one rises on stepping on another's back. Yet today, we are facing an individual who spun a web of lies, baiting good people with glittering promises of OLED Steam Decks, and she has scammed her way to the top in order for power. I have come here to prove that she didn't just cheat the system, she cheated us. Every promise she made was a dagger in the back of the community that lifted her up, and today is the day we bring her to justice. She promised us riches in the form of Steam Decks, dangled them like keys to a brighter future, and then snatched them once she crawled her way to the top. But promises alone aren't what condemn her. I have arrived here today with several pieces of hard evidence, messages, records, and testimonies that will hopefully put this tyrant behind bars. We the people deserve better, and today justice will be served.
I just want to say I was not prepared for this because I'm fucking stoned. So all I can say here is she innocent, and I will prove to you why.
Thank you. Alrighty. If before we go into providing the evidence and anything on behalf of the prosecution, is there any? Let's do some house cleaning here first. So make sure there's not any requests to exclude any certain evidence or witnesses. I'd like to judge on that first before we proceed.
Of course, Your Honor. Unfortunately, the people who were going to testify for me haven't been able to make it to punk court as Tika has taken them out. Some of them have left me some testimonies to read out on their behalf, and I do have a bit of surprise evidence at the end.
Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and get started with the first witness.
So I guess me?
Yes.
Okay, so none of my witnesses are here today. Yes, I will make this clear, the moment they made it public that some of my clients were going live for this trial, Tika has taken them out. So, I am here to provide Renegade, as the first testimony here, I will push anything to punk chat now.
I think right here is a place where they can sit if they're going to testify or something.
Renegade is not here right
Yes,
now.
that is the witness stand.
I think Renegade has been taken too.
Renegade was taken, but he told me to leave this message. All right, let me read Renegade's message. He said he knows he won't be able to make it, but here is his testimony anyways. I've known Tika since the first go-around, before she betrayed us as a scumbag. I would say she owes me a few Steam Decks at this point, from promises Neon gave her, appointed him a sergeant who rules is final, and when she became president, which brings me back to the question. Oh, I realize there's no context, so I will read this and provide context of this message after. I realized I didn't forward the whole thing. Okay. Okay, you know what? Let me provide context. So, I asked Renegade the following questions. I asked Renegade if he was around during the time of Tika's presidency. Well, before she became president, right? So if you, for all you new people out there, before Tika rose to power and scammed the club, she promised the crew that whoever voted for her, she would in turn give them a Steam Deck for every vote, and if she won, of course. Not only did she win, but she provided no Steam Decks for anyone who voted for her. Renegade is one of my clients who decided to speak up against her, and instead of being able to come here today to testify for himself, she took him out. But yes, those were the messages confirming in Punk Chat that she not only took him out, never provided him a Steam Deck or anyone else for that matter, and she owes many people in the Punks multiple Steam Decks.
The sworn statement has been entered into evidence.
I actually have another person I can call to the stand. Our Honorable German Paisman, would you like to take the stand?
So, hey, Paisman, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear I will tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you, Gabe Newell.
It's good enough for me. I don't normally allow furries in my court, but today I'll make an exception.
Hello there, Pace. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, I guess.
How long would you say you've known Tika for?
Holy shit, it's been a long time.
So you would say you know her pretty well.
I would say at this point I know her pretty well. I mean, I've been here before her, but I've been here for the whole scumbag betrayal, everything, you know.
So you remember her days as a traitor?
I remember her days as a traitor.
Has she ever personally promised you Steam Decks?
Indeed she has, and to multiple other people as well.
Oh, so you have witnessed both of the facts there.
Mm-hmm.
How many do you think she owes you specifically?
I mean, I would be fine with just one, you know. It's just one with the OLED. I would be fine. I'd be happy with that. I don't need more than one. But, you know.
Yeah, okay, I understand. But she hasn't even delivered on that, right?
She hasn't, no.
And I assume you've taken this up with her and asked her where your Steam Deck is, right?
He was even all the way to Amsterdam, like in the freaking Netherlands. Was just literally right around the corner. I mean, she could have just dropped it off, you know.
And she didn't, of course.
And she didn't, of course. Just look at Whoops. Sorry.
I will ask. Were you around during Tika's rise to power?
Kinda, I guess. I mean, I was never really gone, even as a nomad.
So did you witness her stating that whoever votes for her will get a Steam Deck?
I have heard of that. Yes, I did.
And do you know anyone who actually got a Steam Deck from her, who voted for her during that period?
Nope, there has been nobody.
Your Honor, you
Well,
see...
Steam Deck's Tika.
I'll have order in the court. Order in the court. No outbursts.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. My client, he's outraged, he's traumatized, he's so tired of being lied to. That is all the questions I have for Pays so far, Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to ask any questions to this witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Just one. At any point, did she specify when you were to receive said Steam Deck?
In pretty non-committal terms, as in soon. And you know what you're getting at, but soon
As in?
does not mean in a couple of years in my books.
But was there any written down factual evidence of when she said this would arrive, whether you assumed it to be true or not? Because assumption is not the truth. Did she?
I mean, at the end of the day, even what's it called? Verbal contract is still a contract, you know.
A contract that does not have a due date.
Does it not?
Your
Not
Honor,
any that has been specified, as according to your own testimony.
I will throw this Holy Testament in.
I would like to call Tika to the stand.
Oh.
Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth while you were sat here in this, witness stand?
Doesn't
I
matter,
promise-
she'll just lie.
I promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you, Gabe Newell.
Liar!
I'll have order in this courtroom.
Okay, Tika, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So, I'd like to congratulate you on your road to power, but, could you also state, just to make it clear to the audience, what your role is in this community and, who you are?
So my role in this community is I am president of the motorcycle club, the Infernal Punks Motorcycle Club. I run the churches each week. I oversee a lot of votes, and I oversee, the rolls and all that stuff. And I also help out in the Discord itself. I also do the social media, the Reddit posts for the Infernal Punks, MC, a lot of stuff.
Okay, can you confirm if you've ever offered another person in this Discord a Steam Deck?
Yes, verbally I have.
How many people do you think you've offered Steam Decks in this community?
I've definitely offered at least all of the current patch members, a handful of nomads as well. I don't believe I have offered to any in the ESO community, or any Fs.
So how many of those people do you believe actually got a Steam Deck in return?
One.
One out of the many tons of patches and punks in this community?
Correct.
So what happened to all the other Steam Decks?
Well, like my lovely lawyer Rain has said, there was no contractual due date to these Steam Decks.
On the other hand, I would disagree. I've heard on multiple occasions myself, and many others have messaged me coming forth saying they've heard on multiple occasions of you saying that the Steam Deck, each person's Steam Decks is right around the corner, and it will be here any day, which is a time.
But not a specific time.
But it's still a time. So, at what point, if we're gonna say that that there's no set time put on these Steam Decks, but at what point do we consider this just a scam?
Well, not a lot of people know this, but I have written in my will that even in death, those Steam Decks will be provided.
And where is this will today?
Verbally said.
How do we know you're not faking this?
Everything about all of these contracts have always been verbal.
But your will isn't something that's verbal. Your will is a contract. It's a piece of paper.
However, we also said that the contracts earlier for the, quote-unquote soon Steam Decks, all of which were verbal. Why can this not be verbal?
Because that is what a will is. A will is something, you write something down, or you contract via, I don't know, online? This is not a verbal statement.
Last
Anyway,
wishes.
let's move on. I have another pressing question. Let's say anytime a member of the community types the word Steam Deck, they are enrolled in what look like a Steam Deck giveaway. Are you involved in this, and and do you consider anyone who enters this giveaway entitled to a Steam Deck?
I do not count this. I am not the one who put that as a trigger for the word Steam Deck in the Discord. I'm not sure exactly who that was, but it was not me, and I do not consent to any of those Steam Decks.
The thing is, though, your name is on the giveaway. How do we know you're not lying to us today?
It's not my fully written out name, it's a nickname. I feel like that does not hold up.
Yeah, it's the nickname that everyone refers to you in this Discord. Am I wrong?
You are not wrong. But a nickname is not viable.
On what ground?
To
Since
be
when is
fair,
this a thing?
when was any of this a thing?
I don't answer my question with a question. There's no need to go a politician on me here. This is a simple question.
Am I not a political figure?
On one hand, you may be, but on the other hand, our people, the members of the punks, need answers, and you are not delivering.
Can I have a final statement, Your Honor?
I'm sorry. There will be time for final statements at the very end. There's right now. It's just purely questions. The defense.
Sounds good. Thank you, Your Honor, for the clarification.
Does the defense have any questions for this witness?
I have a couple. So at any point in these verbal contracts that you are being held liable to, did at any point there be discussed any due dates?
Never.
Not a single one.
Not a single one.
Another question. What is Allie's nickname, according to some? Since she wants to bring up the nickname game.
There's a handful.
Objective speculation.
There's been Allie the
Sustained.
Warmonger.
Oh, Your Honor, how is this relevant to the case?
I'm getting there.
I'll allow it.
The Warmonger. Okay. How about some other names? Maybe Allie the Liar?
There has been a toss-up. I've seen both Allie the Liar and Allie the Truther, which honestly makes me quite skeptical of the truth.
Your Honor, I don't see the relevance of this. I feel targeted when
The
I'm just here to
relevance
represent the
is,
punks.
How can we trust anything the prosecutor has to say if she is known within our community as a liar? And where is the evidence of those saying due dates? Where is the evidence of those saying what you are saying?
I will allow it.
That is all, Your Honor.
Redirect, Allie?
I believe that was just irrelevant to bring up my relation to this case. I am just here to represent the people.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
here to give the people a
I'm
voice.
sorry. Is there a question for this witness?
I do
This
have
is not
one
time for
final thing.
statements.
I do have one final thing. I would like to put the put Tika here under a lie detector test.
The court will allow this.
Okay, hopefully this works. I will ask you one simple question, and you may tap the screen and when you are ready. My question to you is, do you ever intend to deliver upon these promised Steam Decks? Is it tapping?
It's not tapping.
Oddly, let this record show that the screen is not tapping.
Your
Able to
Honor,
take this?
if the lie detector test is not working now, how can we trust that it's going to give us a correct answer?
I have to agree with the defense
Oh,
on
wait,
this.
did it
If you
just
cannot
work?
prove the defense of the functionality of the device, we will have to remove
But
it
it
from the
just
court.
said false.
Thank you, Tika. You may step down.
For the viewers
you.
viewing live at WMP, there is now a poll going out. What will come out first? The Steam Decks or George R.R. Martin's Winds of Winter?
Damn.
No.
Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
I do have some testimonies to bring up, Your Honor.
Okay, let's go ahead and continue to submit your evidence.
I will begin with Atex. Both people were planning on coming to this trial today, yet they were hit with hit squads sent by Tika, and they have both gone into hiding, and that's why they are.
Baseless accusations.
This is why they are not
It's
able
sustained.
to. Actually, I will start off with Sean's because I can read it within Discord. Your Honor, I am presenting this statement to express the emotional and psychological impact I have endured due to being promised free goods or services, only had to have those promises broken. The repeated instances of unmet expectations have left me feeling distressed, betrayed, and humiliated. The anticipation of receiving the promised benefits built on hope, which was subsequently crushed when the promises were not fulfilled. This cycle of expectation and disappointment caused significant and emotional strain, shaking my trust in others and leaving me with the lingering sense of doubt and skepticism. The trauma I have experienced goes beyond mere disappointment. It has affected my well-being, and it has interfered with my ability to trust future commitments or opportunities, leaving me hesitant to engage with offers that may appear genuine. This ongoing impact serves as a reminder of the hurt caused by actions or inactions of those who failed to honor their word. I request the court to consider the emotional burden placed upon me as a result of this situation. The damage caused of these unfulfilled promises is not just about the lack of material compensation, but about the loss of trust, dignity, and peace of mind that I once held. Thank you for your understanding. That first testimony was from Sean. The prior testimony I posted beforehand was from Atex. Unfortunately, he was also not able to make it today, so he had sent me this as proof. I will go ahead and read the following. Steam Deck. 2 words thrown around with almost daily frequency in the punkosphere. Quite flippantly, and almost meaningless it has become, some might say. Whether everyone spouting off about being owed a Steam Deck has any legitimacy to their claim, I cannot say. I, on the other hand, have never been one to make the claim and to provide. Okay, I can't read this. The writing is too small, but we get the point. There are multiple claims against Tika that she has promised to provide Steam Decks on behalf to multiple members of the Punks and hasn't followed through. Neon was my other testimony I was about to bring forward, but somehow he fell sick. Very last second he fell sick. And the only one he could blame was Tika. That is all, Your Honor.
Bailiff, was this Neon issued a subpoena for his appearance in court today?
He was, Your Honor, but he is very unwell. He is not able to make it in.
I'm sorry, I don't find that as a case to not show up in court today.
He's been poisoned, Your Honor.
Please inform the sheriff's department to go pick up Neon at his house and deliver him to the court today. No later than 5 p.m.
I will make note of that, Your Honor.
Does the prosecution have any more evidence?
I do, Your Honor. I have one final bit of evidence. I call the mystery evidence to the stand.
What's the mystery witness?
They're coming to the stand.
Oh my god, it's the Steam Deck! He's too short.
He's too short.
Witness, would you like to state your name for the court?
Shit.
My name is Steamo.
Steamo, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So help me, Gabe Newell.
No.
Hello there, Steamo. How are you doing today?
I would be doing a lot better if I was hanging out with my good friends.
What would you say your relation is there, Steamo, with Tika?
We have a very complicated relationship.
Oh? Would you like to elaborate? Some would say you've been kidnapped by Tika, but would you, that's the word around town, though.
Well, she has been in talks with Mr. Newell in order to think about maybe trying to get discount pricing, but nothing more than that. It just seems as though she doesn't really have the money ever.
So she's too broke to buy Steam Decks. Is that what you were saying?
Correct. That's what I've heard.
So, tell me about your friend, Steamo. What about the other Steam Decks? Does Tika have any of your friends in capture right now?
Of the currently 811 of my brethren and I that are currently promised to members of the Infernal Punks, not a single one has been given to their respective owner.
Thank you,
Your
Steamo,
Honor,
for that.
evidence of this alleged number?
There are weekly updates that are also scheduled in the notes that have been listed for years. We keep a very up to date and accurate amount of the numbers, and actually 811, if I'm being honest, was probably more about like the number 2 months ago.
Your Honor, only the Secretary has access to these notes. Nobody else.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Any patched member has access to these notes.
The posted
and
notes,
can access
but not
them
the
at
notes
any time.
that you have on record.
That's also not true. The officers also have access to this, so I don't see the relation.
I will
That
rule
actually-
I will rule in favor of the prosecution on the fact that this is speculative.
I actually was in touch with the secretary himself, and he has Discord logs proving that Tika, after the most recent change to secretary, tried to zero out the count of the Steam Deck.
I would like to ask you another question there, Steamo.
Of course.
It seems like, unfortunately, you've ended up in a situation where you and your poor friends have been kidnapped by this tyrant Tika. Could you describe to us the conditions she kept you in while you were
Cold.
waiting to be delivered to your fellow punks?
Cold, dark. We were kept away from any sort of water, as we weren't allowed to drink anything. We weren't even charged. We're
Wow.
literally just sitting here, doing nothing.
Just waiting for someone to collect you?
We just want somebody to love us.
How does it feel to be used as a tool, used to be deceived from others?
That, unfortunately, is the only time I feel that I'll ever be used.
To be used as a tool to deceive others?
Not exactly. Not even as a tool to be able to play amazing Steam games.
Who is this person to the left interrupting the court?
That guy's mad at me. Isn't he?
How did we get a child in here?
Ah. Now I'm
I'll leave it open, like the instance open.
Yeah, they left the
Oh no! Kick the Rizzlord
nice.
chicken out!
The new judge is here.
Someone kick the child!
That's hilarious. I bet you anything Teak is behind this.
Wow, Tika, I bet you left the room open.
Wasn't it you that started the room?
That is true.
Stop the room. Someone kick the child.
Are you not the lobby leader?
I am not. I just joined.
I voted to kick, but it says there's not enough people to.
How do you even do that?
How do you vote?
Pause. It's in social. In instance, you click on his name and then you click to kick.
Right, Rizzlord, get out of here.
Typical that this would happen during my
I'm very likable.
I'm sorry, say that again. What was it? Hit escape and what?
Escape social, and then pick his name, and then vote to kick.
Oh, in instance.
Yeah, it's under moderate user.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's on moderator.
Alright, what's up, gamers?
Oh my god, this guy.
He said, "What's some gamers?"
Yeah, the time of his life right now.
He's like, look at me.
I say you're guilty.
Oh wow.
He claimed you guilty.
Let's keep the kid.
Okay. Steamer, sorry about the interruption there. I personally forgot the last question I asked you, so I have a new question to ask you. In your opinion, little Steamer, was the defendant motivated by a loyalty to the community or selfish ambition? Do you think she genuinely wanted to hand out Steam Decks or just scam members of the community for power?
She uses it as a cheap ploy for control of the club and its members.
So would you consider her a manipulator?
I don't see how one couldn't.
Your Honor, accusations, no evidence.
Schemo is
Sustained.
evidence. If you could speak for all other undelivered Steam Decks and scammed promises, what would you have to say to the court? As a Steamer, your little self, you know?
I would say the people deserve compensation for their hard work and efforts and everything they've done for the community. And I don't know how much longer that this can stand without some sort of retribution that might splinter the entirety of the club.
Little Steamer, is there anything else you must tell the court before we end today? Anything they must know about Tika?
Yes. She's stinky.
Oh no. That is all my questions, Your Honor.
Does the defense have any questions for this witness?
Absolutely. So you swore to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
So help me, Gabe.
And you say that your name was what again?
Steamo. It's short for Steam OLED.
Then let's just take a gander at a couple of pieces of evidence here that I think should shed some light on the legitimacy of any and all of your statements.
Jeez.
What is that name that you read there above your head? In the evidence in Punk Chat.
What?
Read Punk Chat.
In Punk Chat, the picture I sent, what is the name floating above your head?
Your Honor, I can't read. I'm just a Steam Deck.
Well, to the rest of everybody here, that looks like the same name as our resident secretary, Ziotika. Your Honor, I mean to dismiss his entire testimony based on the fact that he was lying about who he is. That, sir, is Ziotika.
Ellie, do you have anything to say about this?
He is just Steamo. That is just a randomly generated username. It's convenient that it just happens to be that, though.
I rest, Your Honor.
I think you're lying. Therefore, I will be striking Steamo's testimony from the record. Steamo, please step down off the bench.
Oh my god!
Oh no, I think he died.
Oh no, he wasn't plugged in.
He ran out of batteries.
Oh, God. Does the prosecution add any more witnesses?
I am right.
Esther, you said you had something to bring to the court. Head over to the stand.
From the prosecution, this witness was not on our witness list.
I am. Look at it. It says Neon
Yeah.
Shrimp Sean Esther.
Yep, that's exactly what that said. This is my final witness, Your Honor.
Alright.
So, Esther, do you promise to tell the whole truth? Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. How are you doing today?
I'm not doing well. I'm a little bit sick, so I am... Maybe I am poisoned as well, I'm not sure.
Before we go into
speculation.
Sustained.
Before we go
Witness
into
will
that,
refrain to go to only to their questions that were asked.
Strike that from the record.
tell us your relation to Tika.
Well, I don't really know Tika for so long. But, yeah.
But you are a fellow punk of the community, right?
I am.
So, has she ever promised you a Steam Deck?
Sure, like everything is so blurry when it comes to my memory also.
What has happened to you there, Esther? Has Tika given you something?
I don't know.
Has she given you food, or has she tricked you into taking something?
Your Honor, evidence or keep these basic accusations out of the courtroom.
Esther, is there something you want to tell the courtroom?
Well, I am so confused. So that's what I wanted to say, and I'm really sick.
And you believe this is related to Tika?
I think so, yeah.
Well, what makes you say so?
Your Honor, is she medically cleared for this? He has received. No due date, and yet he has received it. And this is the irrefutable evidence. There's nothing else here. That is from Shrimp. Shrimp himself. This was not forwarded. This was screenshotted from a conversation.
We also have him in the stand.
We do?
He is also here.
Shrimp's here?
Yes.
Yes.
He's
Here he
been
is.
here.
Yes,
Oh.
you do.
Oh. Well, then that should make this should be easy then. Never mind. I was just going to provide the evidence. But my point stands. My point stands. So, it's insane, I say, that previous testimonies were forwarded. No proof validity of the sources. But this...
Your Honor, I would disagree with that statement. I proved screenshots and I proved the chats were real.
And all of your supposed witnesses don't show up at the same time?
I would take that up with your client there for why they didn't show up.
Again, with the baseless speculations, but no evidence to prove it.
Let's have some decorum in the court, guys. Let's move on to additional witnesses. Shrimp. Will Shrimp be taking the stand, or are we just going to submit his statement as evidence?
I think the evidence speaks for itself.
We are moving on to closing statements. We'll go ahead and start with the prosecution on this.
Your Honor and esteemed members of the court, today we have tried to lay bare the truth. We have shown the promises made and been mostly broken. The lies have been spun, and the community was used by one single member. We have provided, with our best that we can, abilities that hard evidence, messages, records, and testimonies. And I would like to prove that Tika today has scammed the punks. The facts are clear, the betrayal is undeniable. The damage to our trust is real. In the punks, we fight for each other. We rise together, or not at all. And when one of us violates the sacred bond we have as a brotherhood, we stand up, not with chaos, but with justice. And today, we ask for a verdict that speaks not just for punishment, but for protection of our punks. Protection to every one of our honest souls in the community. Hold her accountable. Show that no scam, no matter how clever, can stand against the spirit of a united people. That is all, Your Honor.
So noted. The defense will now make their closing statements.
I walked into this courtroom today thinking that there might be a chance that the prosecution had something, anything. But all she has done is slander my client in front of everyone. Someone talking about justice and truth with no evidence to back up their claims. What's really going on here?
I thank both the prosecution and the defense for their decorum in my courtroom today. We're going to take a short 5-minute recess, and I will make my judgment accordingly. Thank you.
Hey, Tika.
Yeah.
I think your lawyer bought his law degree off Craigslist.
So the most important question is
Legacy.
how many collective brain cells have been lost today?
Several.
Yes.
I got ripped out of my mind. I don't know how I did that.
This is the stupidest thing I've done in 8 years of Punk's community.
Everyone can be seated. So this has been a pretty tough case. And I have a statement here that I've prepared or anything like that. Will the defense please rise? So the facts in this case are not in dispute. Tika's actions, while well documented and clearly in violation of original agreement, satisfy the elements necessary for finding of guilt. The court acknowledges the compelling evidence presented, which leaves no room for reasonable doubt regarding her involvement. However, the court must also consider the existence of a mitigating instrument, specifically this get-it-out-of-jail-free card that she handed to me earlier today. The precedent compels this court to recognize the validity of such agreements because they are lawful and binding. when they are made knowingly, voluntarily, and without coercion, and established in previous cases such as Grant versus Taylor, 412 U.S. 145 in 1973. In Grant, the Supreme Court held that private contractual waivers are punitive remedies when properly executed or enforceable under principles of equity. Further to the doctrine of estoppel is articulated in Rutherford versus Mason, 298, feature 2D, 89, 5th Circuit of 1962. Bars a party from asserting a position inconsistent with the prior involuntary action when another action is reasonably relied upon their determinant. Therefore, by issuing the get-out-of-jail-free card, Tika effectively waived her right to seek punitive incarceration through these proceedings. Accordingly, the court finds that while the guilt has been legally established, no jail time shall be imposed pursuant to the valid contractual waiver entered into the evidence. Nevertheless, it is well settled in the exception for criminal penalties does not extinguish the underlying civil obligations, citing case Porter versus Nash, 503, feature 3, 214 of the Ninth Circuit Court of 2007. Thus, Tika remains bound by the terms of the Steam Deck contract, which she entered into willingly. She is hereby ordered to satisfy all conditions of said contract within a period not to exceed 1 calendar year from today's date. Failure to perform as agreed may result in further civil action, including monetary sanctions, enforcement under specific performance doctrine, and other such remedies as equity demands. The court can also leverage the Infernal Punk's treasury, as it has been noted in every secretarial note or anything like that for the last several years. Let the record show that while the get-out-of-jail-free card insulates Tika from incarceration, it does not shield her from her lawful contractual responsibilities. Judgment is entered accordingly into Pump Court this day. What is today? April 27th at 4:53 p.m. At this time, the court is adjourned.
Justice!
She's cooked!
So, same time next year?
You might want to take that money away off of the desk, E-Rock, before we start this interview. What are your thoughts? How do you feel after the very first Punk Court case?
I feel like I judged this court accordingly to the rule of law. I feel like I was fair. I listened to all the points and looked at all the evidence. And turns out evidence didn't mean shit because she had a get-out-of-jail-free card. So. Okay,
I see. And may I ask where those stacks of money came from?
I have no idea what you're talking about, sir. Don't worry about that. Those are just paperweights.
Okay, this is our first interview after the Punk Court just adjourned, where Tika is not found guilty, but still having to send the Steam Decks. You were a witness to this, sir. You were a witness of the first Punk Court case. What are your thoughts?
Well, I do believe if they get a little bit more organization, it could be a little bit more on the ball, but I think they handled it pretty good.
Okay. Anything else you want to say, sir, before we close this out?
I was amazed at the whole time. You could see my expressions going left and right.
Yes, sir, I can. Okay, we are here minutes after the verdict came out for the Punks versus Tika case. How do you feel about this, Caked Up?
I don't feel very good about it. I feel like I received my Steam Deck. The promises were made, the promises were kept. I'm just not very happy with the outcome. I'm sure everybody else would have gotten their Steam Deck with due time. They didn't have to involve a court of law.
So according to what happened, to my understanding, is Tika is not receiving any jail time, but she is still she is still being demanded of the Steam Decks, and she must deliver, correct?
Correct. It's just so unfortunate that she had to use her one get-out-of-jail-free card. She could have used that for some other charge, like a DUI or anything like that.
Understandable. Anything else you want to say before we cut this interview off, sir?
Yeah, I just want to say that I am extremely unhappy that I got dragged here today.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
All right, fresh off of the court case, we have the defendant here. Or excuse me, not the defendant. The defense. Yeah, the defense for Ziotika. The Punks versus Ziotika just ended right now with the verdict going to Tika for no jail time, but still having to deliver the Steam Decks. How do you feel about your defense today, sir?
I knew my defense was ass. I'm not gonna lie. I was high off my.
Well, you still won. You still won. That still has to feel good. Do you think the verdict was fair by the honorable Judge Erock?
Oh, I absolutely knew Tika did it. I just wanted my free Steam Deck, for helping her out.
I understand.
Steam Decks are.
I'm sorry. You were promised what now?
Cheese. I don't know anything about Steam Decks. It's all about cheese.
And who were you promised that to by?
Of course, it was Tika.
Tika. Oh, of course, she vanishes during the accusation. Perhaps later on, you can get enough people to get another punk court case going. But I do hope that you get your cheddar, sir.
I'm gonna go look for some cheese now. Thank you.
Good luck, sir. Good luck. There he goes. What a hero.
This way.
All right. Minutes after the Punks versus Tika court case gets a verdict from the Honorable Judge Erock, we have Esther with us. How do you feel about this verdict today, Esther?
I find it not very pleasing because, I know for sure that Tika poisoned me, but yeah.
Well, I hope you get well soon, and if you do end up going to those pearly gates, remember the 5th of November. All right, we are just minutes after the verdict of the Punks versus Tika. We are talking to the prosecutor in charge of prosecuting the defense. How do you feel about this verdict, Allie?
Pretty happy, pretty satisfied. The people finally got justice. Hopefully they just can get over the trauma of what happened. It's not easy being scammed.
I found it pretty hard to see the entire Snemo testimony being thrown out because of his name. Is there a reason why you did not press the defense attorney on his name when he was trying to go after the name of Snemo?
I was hoping to press him once he bought his, witness shrimp, but then that didn't happen. So then I didn't get to press it. So yeah. There's always a next time, though, right?
There's always next time, and hopefully he comes in even more high.
And if anything, Ali and Ali Service. I hope you guys remember that. You need a lawyer? Better call Ali and Ali Service.
You heard it here first, folks. Ali and Ali are still in business. Call today. Anything else you want to say before we cut off this interview?
No. Thank God she's going to prison.
Actually, I think
what happens when you go on the power trip?
I believe the verdict was she's not going to be doing any time. But
wait, what?
Minutes after the Punks versus Tika court case, where the verdict was in favor of Ziotika, no jail time. Tika, how do you feel about that?
I'm not surprised. I mean, you guys heard it first on the pre-court interview. I knew I would be slammed as a martyr. I knew it. I knew it from the beginning, and I just want to remind the people that, that my quote-unquote rise to power was unfortunately not even hard. If anyone recalls, when I became president, I was the only one who stepped up, and I asked my community to step up with me, and this is how they treat me.
Is that why you chose the pyramid head skin today? Because of the pain, the martyrism that you're going through at the moment?
Correct. It is just a mirrored image of how I feel.
Well, if I may be so bold, you look great in it, and your pain looks outstanding. What do you think is going to be what are you going to be doing going forward? Can you move forward from this?
Well, I will admit I did vocally at one point mentioned giving people Steam Decks, so I guess I gotta do that in the next year, according to Judge Evrock. So I'm gonna get some scratchies and try to actually distribute those and give back to my community, even though they did not give me anything.
Understandable. I wanted to ask you something. As I was interviewing the Honorable Judge Evrock, I saw a few stacks of cash on his desk. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
I would not. If that were the case, I would be found not guilty.
Okay, very well. Thank you for your interview. Anything else you want to say before we cut off this interview?
Fuck bitches, get money.
You heard her here first,
sweet,
folks.
Sweet money.